Welcome, Pewter Report readers and listeners, to another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Special guest tonight joining us. We've been promoting it for the last couple of days. Not you, Mark Cook. You're on here all the time. We're talking about Buc-Street boys. Nick Carter, super fan of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. How you doing, Nick? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Doing fantastic. I mean, the Bucs in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, right? Like, I'm living my best life right now. Come on.
Exactly. You know, Nick, I was just thinking, I think you and I first talked for an article on pewterreport.com back in 2014. And it was interesting because, you know, that was interesting year because it was a bad year for the Bucs, right? They were 2-14. I think you came down for the Bengals game, if memory serves.
Oh, wow. That's so, yep, right? I did. I brought a bunch of friends down. We attended that game. Yeah.
But the interesting thing is, so that was a bad year, right? Lovie Smith's first year, 2-14, didn't do very well. But that was the year Jason Light came to Tampa, and that was the year they drafted Mike Evans. So it was really the start of something really special that has now culminated with the Bucs beating the Packers in the NFC Championship game. We didn't know it back then, did we? But 2014 ended up being a not so bad year because of what's transpired. Jason Light building this team, Mike Evans, one of the building blocks to get this team to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. You know, I've actually become really good friends with Jason Light for the past 3 years. And, you know, as a fan, been very opinionated on the things that have kind of transpired in the past couple of years when it came to the coaching staff. And I used my my social media to really be vocal about it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I could actually really make any impact, but you know, as a fan, and you know, one of the things I noticed was Jason would listen. Yeah. He was actually listening. I was just a voice of many out there who were really just, you know, hungry for change. And, you know, it did actually start with Jason Light. And, you know, people don't realize it takes time. It takes so much time. And, you know, quarterbacks and draft picks and failed picks. I remember I think I called Mark and we were talking, like, we were saying that he was like 50-50. You know, at one point, this was like a year ago, you know, we felt like he was like 50-50 for his picks. And I actually liked those odds. I really was like, you know, I felt that he was trending in the right direction for what he did. And again, it just really goes to show that it really starts with the ownership, you know, listening to the fans and then finding, you know, a team of people who also listen to the fans. And they were doing it. And I think that's really what happened right now is that everyone got what they wished for from this organization.
Well, and Nick, you know, I wanted to start off by saying happy birthday to you because your birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wanted to get you an early happy birthday in. But you know what? Somebody kind of beat me to the punch.
What's up, brother?
Oh!
Hey, glad we got that win for you.
Oh!
You can turn that present in or a better one after next week. Come through for you, brother. Nori, you are a huge Bucs fan, and I appreciate that. Being your friend. Go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby. Yes. Oh, my God.
Jason Light sent that to me today, knowing you were going to be on the Pewter Report podcast tonight. He wanted to wish you a happy birthday. So there you go. Right,
that is so... It's so, like, honestly, like, you know, so we were when we were doing the I'm in Vegas right now, and I stayed when we basically did the Las Vegas residency with the Buc-Street boys here. And when we were doing it, Jason, we were going through the you know, the growing pains with the Bucs, and him and I were speaking like here and there. And you know, he was like, he called me and he's like, my sister really wants to go to the show, come to your show.
Right.
I'm like, done deal. Like, come on. So, you know, I met his sister, I met his whole family. They came to the show. We talked backstage. We were all hanging out and everything. And I became really close with his family.
Yeah.
You know, and just what incredible people they are, you know, and how much they actually care about, you know, the fans and about what they're trying to accomplish. You know, that's the thing I love about Jason Light. You know, a lot of people know him. Some people know him as the rock star, like they know him as the AC/DC guy. Like, and he's pretty raunchy. He's pretty vulgar when he texts me. He's like, he sends me like the little, you know, I don't know if he texts you guys, but you know, he's like, we effing did it, like he doesn't hold back anything, I'll tell you. And that's what I love about him is that, he's just honest about, who he is as a person, and his whole family kind of, is the example of that.
There was a time, Nick, where you texted me a message to send to Jason, like early on, like 2014, 2015. And I did. And I said, hey, I get this from Nick Carter. He's a big Bucs fan, Pewter Report reader. And Jason got it. He's like, oh my God, my wife's going to love this.
Yeah, you never know. Like, that's the thing. Like when it comes to like people, who are you fans of? What kind of music do you listen to? You never really know. And that's the beauty of it. And I was actually pleasantly surprised to discover that Jason Light and his whole family were actually fans of me. So, and the boys.
Exactly. Well, the cool thing, Nick, is I don't know if you know this, but Celsius is our sponsor of the Pewter Report podcast. And we found out tonight in the pre-show that you're a huge Celsius drinker. That's pretty cool.
I am. I actually get Celsius all the time. I drank my whole little mini fridge up. That thing was full. I was like, before we got on, like, where the hell is my Celsius? I got to get my contact. Oh, there's my Celsius. Okay.
Yeah, these things go pretty quickly. So
it's so good. It's so good.
Well, here's the thing. We're gonna kick this off with Celsius, and we're gonna talk more Bucs football with Nick Carter in just a few minutes.
Hey,
right, so,
commercial right there. I gotta go with or something.
I know. Here's the cool thing, right? This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Celsius 30% off. That's right. When you subscribe and save on Amazon.com, right now you can get Celsius 30% off. And we're talking about most of the Celsius catalog. So you're hearing it first here. Click on the Celsius banners on PewterReport.com. Save 30% off with your subscribe and save order. What that means is they're going to ship you your reorders, your replenishment, your restocking of Celsius, and you don't have to worry about reordering. So when you go to the Amazon link from the PewterReport.com banners, you're going to find that you can save 30% off. So do that now. This is a sale and a promo that's going on through February 8th, which ironically is the day after the Super Bowl. So it's a super promotion. And also stay tuned to the end of this podcast for your chance to win a 3-month supply of Celsius. So we're excited to promo that. So stay tuned for more on that later. Nick, I wanted to kind of start with this. Let's just get your reaction. We saw on social media, you're obviously completely, geeked about the Bucs playing in the Super Bowl in your hometown. Will you be at the game? Will you be watching it at home? And what was your reaction when they beat the Packers last Sunday?
Well, it's so funny because I started to get this. I was talking to Mark about it before we actually got into the playoffs. And I started having this feeling that I'm like, you know what? Something changed. Something happened after the last 3 games of the season. And I started to see it. I'm like, I feel as if that the team, that the confidence, just something changed in it, that it was going to actually kind of go into the playoffs, and what that was the confidence. I really felt like the confidence was there, and this just drive and just something happened. What I noticed it was when the scores of the last out of the last quarter, most of them were above 30 points, if I'm correct. Yep. And I was just like, there was no letting off the pedal. Right. There was just like, you know what? And that's what I liked about Bruce Arians. I felt like he was trying to send a message. It's like, okay, listen, we're going to go into the playoffs. It was like some Cobra Kai, no mercy kind of thing going on there. You know what I mean? Like it really was. And I said that to Jason. I said,
you're speaking my language, Nick. I love it.
I said no mercy. Why? Because for the past 15 years, the Buccaneers have been complacent.
Mm-hmm.
it's just been, okay, we're here. This is what's going on. Like, we're okay with it. We might have 7 wins this season. We might have 9 wins another season, but we're okay with it, but there wasn't this like spirit of this drive. That's just like this, just, put the pedal to the metal and do something about it. And I felt that was going to carry into the playoffs, and it did. And I was just like, okay, when we played the Saints, I said to myself, we're going to beat the Saints. I said, we are going to beat the Saints.
You were more confident than I was. It reminded me. It reminded me of the 2002 Philadelphia Eagles, where if they could get over the hump, if they could win in Philly and finally beat the Eagles, it's going to be kind of downhill. And that's what I said. I said, if they can get by the Saints, I'm picking them to beat the Packers in Lambeau. Yeah. Because I think that the mountain's already been climbed. And I'm going to give you an early prediction. I'm picking them to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
I am picking them to beat the Chiefs as well. And I think that, unfortunately, like, look, Kevin and my band, we're gonna actually have like a little whatever.
I heard about that. He's a
wager.
Chiefs fan, right?
Yeah, and Kevin, not a wager. He's a Chiefs fan, and so Chiefs against Kevin against me, Chiefs Buccaneers.
Right.
We got off the phone about like a couple hours ago. We're gonna do a little something special, and we're gonna, I don't know where it's gonna be on Instagram or whatever, but we're gonna talk X's and O's, and we're gonna basically say why he thinks that he feels the Chiefs are gonna win, and why I think the Bucs are gonna win, and we're gonna go head to head, and we're gonna do that probably in about a week or so.
That's cool. That's
cool. It's gonna be fun.
Now, did he grow up in Kansas City or the Midwest region? Where is he from?
So his wife is actually a really big Chiefs fan, and he's from Kentucky, so they don't have anybody else other than the Kentucky football team, UK there. And basically he became a Chiefs fan because of her, and they've stayed that way forever. But obviously I've been a loyal Bucs fan since a long time.
Nick, let's talk about that, because people don't, a lot of people maybe listening don't know your history with the Buccaneers. Why are you a Buccaneer fan? How did that come about? Just talk about growing up in this area. I don't know if everybody knows that. Just talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I moved down from upstate New York with my family to Tampa when I was around 6 years old, and kind of started to learn how to sing and dance and all those things in the Tampa Bay area. And as I kind of evolved slowly but surely, around the age of like 9 or 10, I joined a dance school there called Carl and DeMarco, and Sandy Carl was the cheerleading choreographer, coach of the Swashbucklers at the time, and they were performing in the Houlihan Stadium, at the halftime. And so, as a little child, I would go out there and perform at the halftimes with Sandy Carl. And we called them the Nick and the Angels. It was like a little special thing that we did. And so I would dance, I would sing and dance, and then I'd have like all the swashbucklers around me. And that's how I basically really became just kind of introduced to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Houlihan Stadium, the creamsicle days, all those things that I was looking up. I was so small, and I would look and see these ginormous like players that coming out on the field, and this big stadium, and that was kind of my first sort of introduction into entertainment. And as time went on, I was a very big fan of the evolution that happened with Tony Dungy. And when that entire thing really kind of came to, and the transition, and the Glazers and everything that kind of happened, I was just like, what, this is my team, and if you look at like in the Buc-Street's back music video, there you go.
You got it right there.
I have a Hardy Nickerson jersey right there.
Right. Okay. Now, I wanted to ask you about that, because I remember watching this video debut, and and obviously you guys, most of you guys were from the Orlando, Tampa area. I know that Kevin and it was from Kentucky. But the thing is Brian from Kentucky. But the thing is when I saw this video on MTV, this was 1997, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Right, 1997, and that was the year that the Bucs changed their uniforms, color scheme, and Tony Dungy's second year, and you come out rocking that Hardy Nickerson jersey, I was blown away. I was like, wow, like the Bucs are finally going mainstream, So
yeah,
just tell me about that, because that was a really cool moment, because the Buccaneers were not a national team; they were an afterthought. But here you are bringing the Bucs mainstream. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I guess you could call that mainstream. I mean, MTV, wearing the jersey in the music video, and I was very adamant.
By the way, that's back when they played music videos too.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I basically, I just went with my heart, and I'm a very dedicated person, to when I love something, I love it unconditionally. And, that's the way I felt about the Bucs. And, there was something about a team that was an underdog at the time that I just really loved. I mean, this was a team that was essentially, made fun of throughout the years, when it came to the creamsicles, the Buccaneers, you name it, they said it, and for me, I'm all about, let's build something up. Let's be a part of a story that is a success story. And, obviously when it came to Tony Dungy, who really changed the culture in Tampa and grew something and told a story that was like so important at that time, and built this team. I mean, you guys were there. We knew it. We experienced it. It was magical. It was absolutely magical. And I will never forget, watching the catch, that we did not get into the playoffs.
Play.
The Bird Emanuel catch. I was there. I was, adamantly tuned into the television, watching it, just sitting there. And then they changed the rule later on. We should have gone to the Super Bowl. We should have gone to the next game. We should have been there. Yeah. But you know what? Things, happen for a reason. And, but again, it's just, for me, it's about Tampa itself. The story of Tampa, the people of Tampa. Even though I'm, on the other side of the world or in another state, my heart is there in Tampa. That is the place that I grew into the entertainer that I am today. Right. And my heart is with that, that city, and I love them.
Yeah. Well, and just for our readers and listeners out there too, I mean, this is not lip service. There have been times where Nick is literally ready to go on stage, and he will call.
Yeah, he FaceTimed us in the press box a couple years ago. I think it was during an encore. It was a night game. I think you were an encore. It was a night game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for Mark because I caught him, and I felt bad. Like, I'm an entertainer and a performer, and whatever. Call me what you want to call it, celebrity, whatever. And I call Mark, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? I'm calling. He's like, and he picks it up. He's like whispering. He's like, man, I can't. I say, I can't talk to you right now. I gotta go.
We're in the press box.
Like, I'm in the press box. I can't talk. I'm like, and I'm screaming. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I was so crazy about it. But that's the passion I have.
Well, and that proves that exactly what you're talking about. Whether you're halfway around the world, you're following this football team the best you can. I'm sure it drives you crazy when you have concerts scheduled on Sunday, nights or Monday nights or something like that when the Buccaneers are playing.
It's the worst.
Yeah,
I don't have any shows right now, but I'm saying, when I was on set, it would totally interfere. I would literally be like in the dressing room on our last DNA tour. Same with any tour that I've been on, and I'd just be like, thank God I had the telephone and I was able to log into DirecTV and do Sunday Ticket, so it would work sometimes.
And it's not even that. I mean, I was texting you from the Combine last year, about some of the players, and you called me and we talked for 15 minutes about some of the prospects and stuff. So you're dialed into this team year round, which is really cool,
I got really deep into the Combine, and I was very passionate the past couple of years. I'm going to tell you something right now. This was something that was I can't remember when Ndamukong Suh actually got drafted, but I was dying to draft, to get him.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'm a huge fan of Gerald McCoy, but
Right.
I like at that time, like I was just like, okay, well, I was watching. I was like, God, I would love to have Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with Leonard Fournette. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I wish I had Leonard Fournette. And I was like, I was actually hoping we had Jalen Ramsey. I was like, God, it'd be nice to get Jalen Ramsey. You know, like, and you think all these players, like, they deserve to be on this team. Like we need that as fans, you know. And then all of a sudden they are there, like some of these players. I'm like, okay. Yeah. This has got to be fate. This has got to be something just meant to be, you know?
Yeah, I know. And I mean, that's 2010 you're talking about Ndamukong Suh. That's, you know, that just shows how you're dialed in. So you were wearing the Hardy Nickerson jersey for the Backstreet's Back video. Who were some of your favorite players, or who's your favorite player from back in that Dungy era?
You know, I have so many memories on a lot of those players. I actually was haven't spoken to him in a while, but Trent Dilfer. I was a really big Trent Dilfer fan, and the little story with that is, you know, I was when he was with the Bucs and he was constantly playing. I felt like he was a good quarterback. I felt like he was actually a really good quarterback, and he just some things just didn't click on the team. It happens all the time with our quarterbacks in Tampa. We know that story. And I was, and in 2000, was it 2001 when we were in the Super Bowl? Was it, or 2002? I can't remember.
Yeah. 2002 season. Yeah.
2002. I always mistake because, you know, basically it always rolls over to the next year.
Right.
So, he's in, no, actually it was the Super Bowl before. So it was 2001. He was in the Super Bowl and he played with the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
And so we, as the Backstreet Boys, sang the national anthem in the Super Bowl. So we actually were given a choice at that time. It's between us and NSYNC to either, they said, okay, listen, Backstreet Boys, would you like to perform the national anthem or would you like to perform the halftime? And we said, okay, well, because we had grown up like loving Whitney Houston and like all the prestige of the national anthem. We said, okay, we'll choose the national anthem. And so we sang the national anthem, NSYNC and Britney, and they all performed at the halftime.
Right.
And then I go up into the box and I watched one of my best friends at the time, Trent Dilfer, go and win a Super Bowl in Tampa Stadium on my 21st birthday.
Oh, wow.
It was on my 21st birthday. I had just turned 21 at that time. And so it was an amazing experience. But I always thought, God, like at that time, I'm like, you know what? I really wish that it would have been the Buccaneers, you know, playing in their home stadium, you know, with the quarterback. And that had always stuck in my mind. I said, you know, that's that one thing that I think that has never happened before, which a team has ever hosted their own Super Bowl and played in it. Yeah. And it's happened this year, 2021. And so essentially I feel like, kind of like, it's like this weird, thing that's cosmic thing that's just kind of come to fruition,
Right.
And Nick, I got to give you credit too for people who, wonder if, I say people, there's probably a handful of people who say, oh, he's just jumping on the bandwagon. No, you're a real guy because you will call. And I want to give you credit. Scott, Nick was the first, fan that I talked to who he called me, goes, Tom Brady, book it. He's coming to Tampa. I'm like,
Yeah, you were early on that.
Yeah, Nick, I don't know about that. I was like, I'm not sure, man. I think he's going to go to Las Vegas or, maybe out to California.
Mark and I we will have some arguments. Him and I will basically debate with each other, and we'll just say no. He's like, and I'm like, no, like I'm an optimist, like that's
you
who
are.
I am,
You are, and I try and tone you back a little bit for expectations standpoint because I don't want you to be disappointed. But I mean, you've been right on the money about a lot of things. When you talked about the Buccaneers going on that late run this year, you told me, you go, dude, they're getting hot at the right time. They're getting hot at the right time, and I was like,
they really are.
I was like, they're 7-5, Nick. You said, no, you watch. They're fixing to go on a run right here, and they're going to get hot at the right time. I was like, okay, Nick.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
We should probably bring you aboard Pewter Report since you guys are touring right now.
Well, no doubt about it. I'll say this, like I'm that guy that I'm going to be that like cheerleader. I'm just like, hey, it's going to happen. Look, at the same time, I will be critical. I have been critical with this team over the years to a fault where I got to like hold my tongue on Twitter. I just got to be like, just stop. But at the end of the day, it's like, listen, that's the passion that you need as a fan. And you know what? Maybe one voice, will make a difference. And someone will hear it. And I feel like we as Tampa fans have all come together, and it's mattered, and it's made a difference.
So Nick, you've obviously sung before probably a million or so people, right? I mean, you've been on stages where you're singing before tens of thousands of people at a time. But do you get like a little fanboy kind of thing going on when you're asked to go on, say, like NFL Network's Good Morning Football, right? Because it seems like there's a real genuine enthusiasm about that, where you're not, Nick Carter celebrity, you're Nick Carter fan, and you're on because you're celebrity status, but you don't act like it.
Here's the thing. I like, at the end of the day, most people who know who I am, and Mark knows it, I'm just a normal dude. Yeah, I might be able to like perform and sing and dance, but at the end of the day, I'm just normal. I'm just like, I'm a dad right now, and I'm just going to act like any other guy. You see the commercials, you see it. If they bring me on a show and they want to talk football, I'm going to talk football, and I'm just going to, wear my, my emotions on my sleeves, and I'm just going to be just who I am. And that's what is great about being a fan about football, because you don't necessarily have to care about, look, we have a lot of fans. Like, thank God the Backstreet Boys have incredible fans all across the world, all around the world, who are very loyal to us. And we see how passionate they are about us. And we love that. We love you so much. All my love sent to you. I know it's been a while since we've been on stage, but I see it all the time. Like, sometimes when I'll say something, or I'll post a video, or, do some stupid thing, with the Bucs or whatever, they're like, oh, well, at least we know that he knows how we feel when it comes to being a fanatic of something. So, that's the thing about it. Like, that's what's great about sports. That's what's like, think about it like this. We as fans, especially, in the world of the quarantine and COVID and everything that we are going through right now, this is one of the brightest spots that we have, when it comes to entertainment and football, and that's I'm very grateful for that and appreciative.
Nick, you were talking about fans all over the world. I'm looking at some of the people in our chat right now. We've got Brazil, we've got Argentina, we've got other places in South America. And of course, they're all saying, we love you, Nick, and miss you, and those kind of things. So anyway, it's just really wild to see how many people. You're right. Marissa Ramon says, send Argentina, please, Nick. I don't know what that means, but anyway, I like to read the translations of things.
No,
it's a little off a little bit.
All she's saying is just send some love to Argentina. Love you, Argentina. We got a lot of fans down, like, South America, you name it, all around the world. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in if you have.
Yeah, we've got a good crowd in here right now. Thank you. Yeah,
no doubt about it. And, we've kind of talked about predictions, Nick, about the Super Bowl. We kind of jumped the gun a little bit and said, yeah, we think the Bucs are going to win. But you know what? If you want to go, and not just you, but anybody out there, any of our Pewter Report readers and listeners want to go put a wager on the game, Mark, where would they do it?
They would go to My Cookie. Bookie. No, My Bookie. Sorry.
MyBookie.
Don't go to My Cookie. Not a good idea. Go to mybookie.ag.
Exactly. It's that time of year when the divisions are decided, the champions are crowned, the legends are born. It's the NFL playoffs, and we're getting ready for the big game here in Tampa. You've waited and watched all year long as your team has risen to the top, or maybe fell to the bottom if you're not a Buccaneer fan. But now it's your turn to win big. You've heard the name everywhere, MyBookie. They're the industry leader when it comes to online sports books and casinos. And it's not hard to understand why. They're with thousands of lines to bet on for all your favorite sports, the NFL, the NBA, NHL, college basketball. Check, 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 check. How about MMA and soccer? They've got it all. The latest odds, period. Take advantage of MyBookie's prop builder and live in-game betting, where every single run, throw, and touchdown is another chance for you to put cash in your pocket. Visit their mobile-friendly website today, and you can get your deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. Just use the promo code PEWTER when you go to MyBookie and make your first deposit. The best part about it is they make it simple with a variety of ways to deposit instantly, including credit card, bank transfers, Bitcoin, and more. So whether you're at home or on the go, on your laptop or on your phone, it's not too late to make your New Year's resolution a resolution to get paid. And the only place to do it is at MyBookie. Bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie using promo code PEWTER.
Not My Cookie. I don't pay out very well. You'd have to just be down for your payout. Not good.
So, it's very cool. you're getting a lot of birthday wishes here, Nick, and certainly from around the world, as Mark was saying, Mexico, Canada, Indonesia. The cool thing though is with you being a Buccaneer
UK
fan,
in the house.
Yeah, with you being a Buccaneer fan, you're really kind of an ambassador for the team, and you're really bringing that team globally. Like you're getting exposure for the Buccaneers because we see you all the time on social media. Tonight you're repping the Tom Brady pewter jersey. I love it, but it's really cool for you to not just be a Buccaneer fan, but also to be able to promote that brand on a national and a global basis.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, that's the thing about my fan base with the Backstreet Boys is that we are global outside of the U.S. I know that there has been games that were in the U.K. and then Mexico. There was a lot of the NFL was really expanding, and obviously things kind of have changed a little bit. But I'm sure that those things will go on, and those fans are learning to love the sport of football the same way that I do, and learning it, seeing how passionate I am about it. And I see it all the time. Like there's fans who are just like, well, we don't really know what football is about. Like we're used to soccer, like football is soccer. No, American football. I'm trying to explain it to them. But yeah, at the same time, they are learning and loving it through me. And, even if I could just share my love to anybody out there, one person at a time, that's important. And that's what matters.
Nick, you guys just celebrated 25 years. Is that right? Was that the anniversary that you just celebrated?
No, actually, we were actually on 28. So we're almost close to like 30 right now.
Close to 30.
30 years, yeah.
So, how in the world now? Let's compare this to football, right? You got to have a good locker room. You got to have a good chemistry. How in the world have you guys had a chemistry among the band for 28 years? And I've watched the documentaries and different things, and you guys get on each other's nerves from time to time. But at the end of the day, you guys really are a brotherhood. Is that that's how football teams succeed? That's how teams go to Super Bowls. Is that how bands stay together for 30 years?
Diversity. That's the word that I like to say. That's what. America is about. That's what people are about. We want to be diverse. We want to be able to just listen to one another and be a team. That's the beauty of football. It's a team, not one person, is the same than another, but at the same time, when you come together for one cause, that's the importance of team, and that's what that means. And that's who we are. We through thick and thin have listened to each other, been there for each other, and have been able to be a brotherhood, like you say. And it's very similar to being in a team, like on a football team.
You guys have been doing this for close to 30 years, like you said, and and every team needs to have a quarterback, right? And with each of you guys, kind of being, I think the best thing about the Backstreet Boys is you guys. There's no background guy. There's no backup guy. It's five guys as one. But at the same time, you guys have gone through the ups and downs of stardom together. Has there always been a consistent quarterback amongst the group, or has that role changed through
Nick
the
Carter.
year?
Nick's the quarterback. Look, he's got the good boy Tom Brady looks. He's wearing the number 12 jersey. It's clear that Nick Carter is the quarterback of this team.
I love you, Mark. I appreciate that. And I will pass it on to say this, that, we have all taken a leadership role at the times that has been needed.
Right.
And
that way,
there's the backup quarterbacks, there's the, listen, that's what team is about. They say it in sports all the time, next man up. Because if that guy goes out, who's gonna back up that team? It's about team. Yeah. And so, listen, there are times, like Mark says, where we all step into that role and we lead for a moment, but at the same time we can back up and be like, okay, well, you know what? I don't know everything. Right. I am not the person who's the all-knowing, and maybe let me listen. That's the beauty about we live in sort of like a democracy, and that's how we operate.
Nick, that's not how Scott operates our organization. He's the boss, and he's constantly yelling at me. I can't do anything right. So can I join the band? Do you need a 6-member You know, I'll lose
well,
some
we
weight.
We were talking about the hair before we actually got on. Like I told you, being from Tampa, we're going to be doing a spot. Where's the sun in? Where's the sun in?
Damn it! I forgot the sun in. That's what I'm gonna put some highlights.
Are we gonna bring sun in back? That's what I want to know.
I don't even know if they still sell sun in. Right. God, that is a Ruskin memory right there. Now hanging out at Bahia Beach with the sun in.
The sun in back. That's fantastic.
It's either that or you just take some conditioner, put it in a little cup, and then maybe like a little lemon.
Lemon juice. Yeah. All right. So Nick, we saw you rocking the Hardy Nickerson jersey. We talked about that back in the Buc-Street's Back video back in 1997. Okay, and the cool thing is like you've been a Bucs fan through the creamsicle days. Here you are repping your Bucs gear, present day. You know, we had you on the show tonight. You're wearing the Tom Brady pewter jersey. So when you've seen this thing come full circle now, how excited were you when you heard last spring that the Bucs were going back to their throwback red and pewter jerseys that they're wearing right now?
I was just over the moon, I'll tell you, because I really think, I feel that it's character with the way that you feel, with the things that you are wearing, those things translate. Like they actually
play good.
Exactly. They say the same thing like in golf. I've been playing golf lately. Like you look good, you play good. At least, or maybe at least you look good if you don't play good, right? Yep. But at the same time, my point is that I was so excited that they went back to those jerseys. I see the one behind you right there. I wasn't mad at those. I wasn't mad at them. Okay, I really thought that it was, but
it's not a bad look. And the reason why I get it framed is because this is my 25th year covering the Bucs, and the team actually gave me that for my 20th year, which was cool. So
I wasn't mad at them at all. But there was something about the spirit and just being like this, being strong, like the strongness that came from those original uniforms. Like
Derek Brooks,
the power,
right?
Yeah,
the power that came from those uniforms. Just the simplicity, but also the power at the same time. And that pewter report, pewter actually, when you really accentuate it, it becomes something that you can use.
Nick, we were really nervous when we knew that they were going to change the uniforms, but we didn't know what they were going to do. We didn't know if they were going to switch colors. Scott and I were thinking, what the hell are we going to call ourselves if it's not pewter anymore? If they take pewter out, what are we going to be? The creamsicle report, the purple report? I mean, we were genuinely sweating that out. Thank goodness they went back with the pewter because we didn't have to change the name for our company. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all know that what built the Buccaneers and what became the Buccaneers was Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, Hardy Nickerson, Warwick Dunn, Warren Sapp, Mike Allstott. That was the beginning, of the legacy. And if you can at least capture a little bit of that and honor that legacy with the new generation,
right,
you will be able to unite the fan base, and that's what they did.
Yeah. Well, and also too, tell us about you. Now we see you rocking the pewter jersey, but when you saw them debut the all pewter look, the pewter pants and the pewter jersey,
I wanted it more.
Yeah,
I really did. I think it's the best one.
Yeah,
I really do. I think the all pewter is the best look that they have. I can't remember. So obviously they were on the away uniforms when they played the Washington football team.
Yeah.
And they came out and I saw them when they entered the field. I said, oh no. I said, oh my God. I said, they look mean. They're ready to play. And they came out with that authority, that dominance of that look, the way that they looked. I'm like, that's exactly what I knew. I said if they were to beat the Washington football team, it would. That's when I knew it.
Right.
That's when I knew, because they were already rooting against us. Everybody, you look at all the spreads. No one really thought that we were going to win. All right, And so I knew it when they came out and they all stormed on that field and they had those uniforms on. I'm like, oh man, I'm getting some like chills of like Derek Brooks. I'm getting like that old feel right there. Nice. I'm like, no, you're not going to beat us. Okay, not going to happen. We're going to take that all the way to the damn Super Bowl, and that's what happened. So that's the way I felt.
Gotcha. Hey,
Nick,
real quick. Jason Light was kind enough to wish you some happy birthday wishes. We played that video for you. I'll send you that after the show here. As fate would have it, Jason Light's niece is on. She's watching tonight, and her mom, Patty Abbott, is Jason's sister, and her birthday's today.
Yeah, you know what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I wanted to say if you could maybe give Patty a shout out and a happy birthday.
It's today, so she's is she an Aquarius? Can you hear like she typing you or something right now?
I'm not sure. I just got that message.
She's got to be an Aquarius.
Yeah.
To my Aquarius friend, happy birthday to us.
There you go.
So Nick, happy birthday.
My brother's birthday was yesterday. Give him a shout out. Why don't we just do a whole list of shout outs? No, seriously, it was his birthday yesterday. He's 41 too.
Age of Aquarius. Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, so we talked about some of your favorite players from yesteryear. Now the Buccaneers have gone full circle. They're back in the original the red and pewter uniforms, which we heard today they're going to be wearing the white jerseys for the Super Bowl with the pewter pants. So they're mixing it up. They're not going to go like they did in 2002 with the red.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I had no idea, but I really actually like that.
Right. So there's some breaking news right there. You also mentioned, just to keep the football theme going, you mentioned all these points and the Cobra Kai no mercy philosophy that Bruce Arians has these guys rolling with right now. They have 7 straight wins, 6 wins in a row with 30 points or more, Nick. So I think that's the magic number. They got to get to 30 points. Matter of fact, when they're 30 points this year, they're undefeated. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not worried. If we're talking X and O's, and if we're going into the specifics about it, I'm not worried about the Bucs putting points up on the Chiefs. I'm not worried about that. I'm actually, I'm not even worried about the defense, but I am going to say that, and Mark and I have had these conversations numerous times. The defense needs to do their thing, and they have to step up. Right. And a couple of key points that I want to point out right now. Number one, I said this. I was actually one game too early. I don't know, Mark, if you saw it on Twitter. I started calling out Shaquille Barrett, and I said, where have you been all year? I'm like, right. I said, you need to have 3 sacks in order for us to beat, the Saints. I said, because why? Because I felt we needed to have some pressure, on the front. And Shaquille Barrett was the X factor, in my opinion. And then he goes ahead and has 3 sacks in the last game. I'm like, all right, fine. At least it's not too late, right? But I said, one of the things that was a shocker to me was the way that the cornerbacks were playing. And if you saw the last game, that Michael Thomas was shut out, for 3 quarters?
Well, he was shut out the whole game. Actually.
Right, but he didn't have I think he didn't. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think he didn't have a catch for 3 quarters.
Yeah,
that's what I think I read. That was the determining factor of the entire game. Everybody knows Michael Thomas has been the one who has run. Okay, we know, thankfully, the defense can stop the run. All right, but if you're going to let your one receiver or your tight end dominate, there's a possibility. But it was always about how are those corners going to handle, their star receiver.
Yeah.
And now that's what's going into this game. Yeah. All right. If you really think about it, we're talking about Tyreek Hill and we're talking about Travis Kelce. Those are the two.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the Bucs Chiefs game from Week 12?
I believe I watch every game. Okay. Yeah. And I think we lost that game, right?
Yeah, 27-24. They got a 17-point lead in the first quarter. Tyreek Hill went off.
We came back. I remember that. Yeah, and
that was the last time the Bucs lost. believe it or not.
Right.
Think about that. That's crazy. That was the last game they lost, was to the Chiefs.
Yeah. And I just remember us coming back, and I didn't like that feeling because that reminded me of the old Bucs. You know, it's just, oh, come back, you know, lose by 2 points, whatever, you know. And I felt like when you talk about the no mercy, like, all right, well, you need to show dominance now, because why? Because everybody feels like that. What's the MO of the team? What have you been? What is normal? Oh, we're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so we know that they're going to come back the last minute, or they're, you know, but change the story, and that's what I think is happening now. Going back into what I think is going to be the story in this game is going to be the defense. I really think that they're going to have to choose one or the other, you know.
Press man coverage.
Exactly.
Press man coverage, and then blitz Mahomes, and let's test that injured toe out, and because he's still mobile. He still proved against Buffalo he could scoot. But I think too, when you look at Eric Fisher, the left tackle being out,
that's a big one.
And they don't have Mitchell Schwartz, so now their top 2 tackles are out of this game. And you saw Jason Pierre-Paul erupt for 2 sacks against the backup left tackle, and you saw Shaq Barrett erupt for 3 sacks against the backup right tackle in Green Bay. That should be the blueprint.
They really should. I hate to go back to it, but I mean that's what it is. I mean, how are you going to account for that? Right. How are you going to account for Shaq Barrett if he's dominant in the game?
Yeah,
you know,
and against a healthier Kansas City line, both Barrett and JPP had a sack in that Kansas City game before. So,
and there was no Vita Vea in the middle, and we saw what Vita Vea was able to do.
So
how important he was in that Green Bay game.
Yeah, how psyched were you when you heard the news that Vita Vea is coming back?
Shocked, absolutely floored. I'll tell you, I was like, where the hell did this come from? I had no idea. Did you guys got the inside information? Did it come out of nowhere?
We asked all season, and everybody was like, yeah, no, it's not happening this year. I mean, literally, I had people say it's all about, you know, next season. He's not coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know that they thought they would be in the Super Bowl either, but it was a heck of
it's one of those things. We asked Bruce Arians about it, and he said, you know, because we asked him on a Zoom call about a month before he came back, you know, is there any chance Vita's come back? He's like, nope, no, not at all. I don't see it happening, even if we make it to the Super Bowl. And it's just one of those things that yes, you know, he's a medical miracle. He was out there working, and that's one thing Bruce said. He said, listen, man, you're looking good. You keep working, we'll keep winning. And we'll see if we can make this thing happen. And it really is a testament to Vita Vea coming back and wanting to come back and working hard to do so. It's a big man on a fracture, you know.
Wow. Blown away. Absolutely. I mean, that's another thing too. I mean, I got to give credit to the medical staff, you know, in the Bucs. I don't know who they are, what they've done. Like they are incredible. And you know, just how they've been able to just kind of manage the protocols with COVID as well, and all the other things that are going on. You like being able to really, you know, keep the players healthy and ready to go. Right. Can you imagine from, you know, the season and to get to that Super Bowl with the things that are being thrown at them, you know, as a team, you know, like you got to give it up for the medical staff, you know, especially all the frontline workers out there, everybody in the world who is busting their butts to take care of us. Shout out to all you guys out there, not just the medical staffs in the NFL, but everywhere in the world. So love you guys. Thank you for all your hard work.
You know, and I think that the cool thing too is we talked to Jason Light today on the Zoom call, and first time he's talked all year, because usually general managers they'll let the coach and the players speak. But I asked him about the turning point. I think there's really 2 turning points to the season. The most obvious one is the bye week, right? Because they had just lost 3 of the last 4 games in November. They were 7-5. They were really running out of gas. I mean, 12 weeks of football, straight football, without a bye week, was taking its toll. You could kind of see it. Then they got rested, refreshed. The coaches were able to kind of self-scout and retool things, and they've just come out like gangbusters. They averaged 30.8 points during the regular season. But since the bye week, they've averaged close to 35 points. And the defense has really turned the corner, as you mentioned earlier, Nick. But the other turning point for this team, and Nick, you saw it, and you saw it in the stands of that Bengals game in 2014. What happened? The Bengals didn't beat the Bucs. The Bucs beat themselves. This is a team that has that could teach a master class in how to beat itself. Even last year, the first year of Bruce Arians, right? They led the league in turnovers. They led the league in penalties. This was a team that just couldn't get out of its own way. I mean, 33 touchdown passes from Jameis Winston, 30 interceptions, 7 pick sixes, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, Jason, let's go back to that Bears game. And he said, out of all of the losses,
you're talking about the Bears game. That's the one.
He said that was the worst loss that he's actually encountered because they literally didn't beat themselves. They lost 20-19, and he was talking about a conversation that he had with Bruce, about that game, and it was a game that he felt really was the turning point in the season, and he gave a really good answer. He said, that game was probably, in my career here, we've had a lot of bad losses, but that one was the one that really stung the most. I think not only did we lose the game, we lost with penalties and things like that. We also lost via Vea. Now, I was talking about this the other day with Bruce Arians, actually, and I said, gosh, that loss still stings. And he said, that's the best thing that ever happened to us looking back in retrospect. I think that's right. We cleaned up the penalties. We were a lot more disciplined. And it just brought everybody together. And it showed that we were all human. Everybody needs to be accountable. Everybody on the roster, including the front office, everybody in the organization. It brought us closer together. Again, that was Jason talking about.
If I recall that game, one of the things a couple of things that actually stood out to me was as they were backing up, and I think they had almost 30 yards of penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you recall.
It ended up being over 100 yards of penalties. But yes.
That one.
But he's talking about that one drive.
One drive.
Yes.
It was almost 30 yards of penalties. And you had Jensen had a call. He kept I'm having flashbacks of here we go again, and get ready to call Mark and start crying and I'm just and I said to myself, I said, when they got off the field after those penalties, and Tom Brady started to lay into the sideline and started to act, you saw it on his face.
He went nuts. And
you saw him just I don't know what he was saying, but the emotion and the passion on his face, I was like, that's what we have needed for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
That is what has been needed right there. Because why? Because they were complacent. They were a team that was okay with where they were. You know what I mean? It was not the perfect example. You heard the quote recently with Tom. All right, he said, who was it? It was to Devin White, right? Where he said, "Well, I'm upset that I wasn't in the Pro Bowl." He's like, "I'm not here for the Pro Bowl. I'm here for the Super Bowl." We heard it. That's what you want. That's what now. And I say this, everyone loves Tom Brady, from what he has done before, what he is doing now. But I think it's important to realize that this is something that needs to be captured and held on to for years to come.
Right.
I think this is very important because people, we can be high on what we're going through and living in the moment, but if we can't take that spirit and let it just kind of resonate, through the organization for years to come, then we won't be a dynasty. Mm-hmm. We're just going to be a one-off with one quarterback.
And I think that's what Jason Light was talking about today, because he said, we're actually a very young team. You look at the secondary, you look at these skill position players, and this 2 years of Brady and maybe more if they continue to win and have fun and he stays healthy. The experience, the leadership that is being absorbed like a sponge by guys like Devin White and Vita Vea and Scotty Miller and Chris Godwin, right? That are going to be on this team for the next 10 years. And they'll carry that leadership and that perfectionist type of mentality that Brady has on through to the next generation of Buccaneers long after number 12 is gone.
That's important. And I'm sure that Bruce and him are aware of that. And that this team, there's always going to be like, what does he say? He wants to play a couple more years after this. Bruce wants to come back, but again, we always have to remember we are passing down, to the next, your legacy to the next generation,
Right.
And I think we do have a young team.
Yeah.
I think, and it's going to be really incredible to see how that character becomes imprinted, on the younger generation. So it's gonna be cool to see.
You're exactly right. And just like how Tom Brady is going to be passing along some wisdom and experience to his teammates, Nick, we're going to be passing on some free Celsius to our Pewter Report readers and listeners.
Yeah.
So check this promotion out. This is really cool. This is a 3-month supply giveaway that Celsius is offering. Starting tonight, Celsius and Pewter Report have teamed up to announce a free product giveaway of a 3-month supply of Celsius. That applies to the original Celsius, the Heat, the BCAA, the Sweet with Stevia brands, meaning 8 to 12 pack cases or 96 cans of your favorite in-stock flavors. So here's what you have to do. 2 lucky Pewter Report podcast listeners and visitors are going to be chosen at random to win a 3-month supply of Celsius. Here are the details. Number 1, subscribe to the Pewter Report YouTube channel. You should have already done that. If you haven't, do it now on YouTube. Just click the subscribe button on Pewter Report TV, and that's step 1. Step number 2, follow Celsius Official on one of the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's easy. Number 3, screenshot the image proof of your subscription on Pewter Report's YouTube channel and the fact that you followed Celsius Official on one of those social media platforms. Take 2 quick screenshots. Then go submit your entry to www.celsius.com/pewter. Upload those 2 screen captures, enter your name and email, and boom, you're done. And you have registered to win a fantastic giveaway, 3-month supply of Celsius in your favorite flavor.
I don't think we're going to ship to Brazil. I'm just going to go out on a limb there. Probably in the continental United States only is eligible.
I have to say this, and I'm not even joking. Celsius is so good. I need some like right now because it's so tasty.
Get them all right here, Nick.
I will have Amazon deliver you 3 cases by Saturday.
I need some Celsius right now. Seriously.
All right, so Nick, what's your favorite flavors of Celsius?
I actually like the kiwi. It's the combo. It's the kiwi. Not strawberry. It's like the combo.
There's a kiwi.
Yeah.
Well, there's a kiwi one by what? Kiwi guava. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guava.
Yep.
Yep.
I love that one.
That's a very Tampa flavor, Nick. The guava, right?
I love the guava. Yes.
I don't know if you've tried this one. This is actually called orange sickle, right? This is Celsius Heat orange sickle. And
orange sickle. Not creamsicle, but orange sickle.
I know, exactly. It tastes like an orange sickle, so check that out too.
Like if you want to taste the Buccaneers, you just
Yeah, you got
orange sickle.
And if you prefer the red and pewter, they've got the Inferno punch right here. That's red and pewter flavored, right?
Love it. I'm really thirsty right now.
Exactly. Well, Nick, we really appreciate having you on. I know that COVID has kind of put a halt to the Buc-Street Boys concert and touring plans, but what do you have going on that fans can look forward to in 2021?
Well, we are actually having a conversation in the next couple of days about the upcoming touring schedule, and we're pretty much determining whether or not we can do that. Obviously, it's more important for the safety of the people in the world. We were right in the middle of a world tour, the DNA World Tour, which was about 20,000 seats a night. We were actually getting ready. I had Mark Cook right on the the VIP package. He was going to be there with us in Tampa. But we're really waiting to see what's gonna happen with that. I know there's been some talks about pushing it back to the next year. Also, there's we're possibly going to start working on a Christmas album for this year. So that's of the things that we're gonna
Thank you. I don't have to listen to that other band's Christmas album now.
I knew it. Oh, I love them.
It's awful. No, you don't. Don't you even lie to me.
That's my boy. No, seriously. Actually, Lance Bass and I were talking about doing a podcast show together. So we're really. Did I really just let that out of the bag?
Wow.
Oh my God! I just only here on
breaking news. Breaking news.
We're talking.
And you know what? Those guys like you too. I was at Mike Allstott's event. Scott, when was that? It wasn't last year. It was the year before.
It was 3 years ago. Actually, Joey Fatone was there.
Chris Kirkpatrick was there.
Chris Kirkpatrick. That's right. Yeah, Chris.
And I was like, I got to get the scoop, man, because Nick says he loves you. But is that true? You guys get along? He goes, I really do like Nick a lot. He's a really good dude. I was like, damn.
Chris is my boy, dude. I love Chris. I love Joey. All the guys, like all those bands. We talk. We're friends, and we all get along. And I mean, listen, we share a lot of things in common. I mean, we all went through the same thing. You know, late '90s, early 2000s. We all did the same thing together. So it's only a couple people on the planet that could understand and sort of like relate. And that's why I love those guys. You know, and also on the other things that I'm doing, that we are doing this year, I don't know if you guys saw, I was just on The Masked Singer. I know Mark called me. He's like, why didn't you tell me? I was like, I couldn't say anything. I had to have you sign an NDA. You wouldn't have like and I was like, you know, well, I'd rather people just kind of like, you know, call me up and be like, hey, I didn't know. And it was funny because I didn't even tell Jason Light, and he actually just texted me right now, but I didn't tell Jason. And he's like, at the end when I got revealed, he's like, I knew it was you. I knew it was you. I knew it. And so, look, I was on that show. I released like a little song that's on Spotify right now. It's called 80s Movie. You can check that out. So we're just kind of like figuring some things out. The most important thing right now in my life is that I got 2 months before I got another baby coming. So
congratulations, man.
That's the most important thing. And those are the blessings up above, thank God for. And right now, look, I'm full dad mode right now, watching football, having some wine every now and then, playing some golf, eating some food, gaining some weight. And I'm at home taking care of my kids. Hey, that's my life right now. But you know what? When things get back to normal, and when everybody's when it comes back to that point where people are everyone's safe and we can get back to touring again, we're going to launch the Backstreet Boys DNA World Tour. We're going to go back on the road. We're going to be there to entertain people, and that's what our job is. So we can't wait for that.
That's awesome. All right, Nick, before we let you go, thanks for your time tonight. Shoot us a score for Super Bowl 55. I'm assuming Bucs are going to win.
Oh, geez. So Bucs will win.
They got to hit 30. We talked about that. They got to hit at least 30 to win.
Yeah, I just think that this defense, the Buc defense, is going to have a couple turnovers. And I think that's going to be a factor right there. One of them could be, a touchdown. I mean, I think what's the line right now? The line's what, like 3.5 or something?
I think so. If you remember back in 2002, Dwight had 2 pick sixes and Derek Brooks had 1. So,
yeah, I did want to say one thing real quick before we go. I'm going to say this real quick. Bucs are going to win. It's going to be very close, and I think it's going to come down to like some sort of turnover, where the Bucs are going to probably score. It's just going to be one of those things. It's going to be like, oh, we won. It's going to be a defensive play that wins the game. Call that right here, Buccaneers. Right. But I got to say this right now. What a hell of a draft pick that Devin White was.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, are you kidding me right now? I'm getting Derek Brooks kind of, comparisons, but I'm also getting a little bit of Ray Lewis in there. And I'm going to tell you right now, this man is special, and I'm so happy to have him and Levante David. So those 2 linebackers, I mean, listen, we're good. Oh, and one more person before we go.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of oh my God, like blanking right now, free safety. Antoine Winfield Jr. Yeah. Antoine Winfield Jr. What a freaking ball hawk, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got to love him. Like the energy
out in New Orleans. Play.
Yeah, Antoine Winfield Jr. So I'm happy about the D. I'm all about the D in Tampa.
I'm with you on that. And it's funny. You mentioned Devin White. I remember I texted you our mock draft in January. Pewter Report was actually the first one to have Devin White mocked to the Bucs, and you texted back and you're like, love it. Love him. The Devin White bandwagon early.
Yep, totally was. So I think that congratulations, Jason White. You drafted a hell of a team. Let's go win that damn Super Bowl. Let's go.
I love it. Nick Carter, thanks for joining us tonight. For Nick Carter and Mark Cook, I am Scott Reynolds saying we'll see you next, actually tomorrow. John Ledyard's going to be on, but we'll have another Pewter Report podcast tomorrow. So for Nick and Mark, I am Scott, and we'll see you next time on the Pewter Report podcast.
Love you guys. Late.